telling the owner he's wrong is one of the most difficult part of this position, but also it's part of the value. If you hide things to look good, you are only slowing down your own health. I learned that hiring without a clear scope, an idea, I think is one of the most expensive mistakes an owner can make. Hiring should be the last option. Sometimes a full-time seat is really a few hours of real work a week. Someone thought that the other person was doing that, and at the end nobody was doing it.
Welcome to Inside EdgeOS. It's where we go behind the scene with the people who installing the systems to move your business forward, so it stops depending on you on everything. And today my guest is a person who came into operating from the claim side of the business. And she has spent this year inside of general constructing, putting structure into a company that was already running the full speed. She was built the raw libraries from scratch, sat in the room for hiring decision, and had this kind of direct conversation with an owner about where is money leaking and what we can do to improve this situation. What I wanted to talk to her is about what that work actually teaches you and where the money hides inside of constructing business, and why hiring is usually wrong first move if you want your business grow and had less mess inside. And today is the topic what we're gonna discuss with Manuela. Manuela, hello.
Hello, Ruslana. Thank you very much for having me here.
Manuela, could you please tell us a bit more about yourself? We usually always start from some information about people with who we talked, and would be nice if you can say about some of your hobbies, maybe some interesting facts about you. Where are you right now? And just a bit more information to understand who you are.
Yes, of course. Well, I am an industrial engineer, and what I'm doing right now is running operations remotely. I work for companies in the United States, but I am actually from Mar del Plata, a coastal city in Argentina. And I think that talking a little bit about myself, what I bring to the table is responsibility, an analytical mind, attention to detail, and always looking for how to make things better. And about hobbies, or what I like to do in my free time, is teaching yoga. I am a yoga professor, and I enjoy that activity a lot. So that is a big part of my life as well.
So interesting because you combine both it's engineering and plus yoga in one person. Where did you
Yeah.
start to do yoga and how it comes that you become a professor?
Yes, it's like my two personalities fighting inside of me, and I like it. So I studied last year while I was living in Australia in an academy that is from my city but online. So it was an extremely useful tool for me to help me enjoying that experience that was so cool while expanding my brain and my body and my soul all at once.
It's really interesting. And about engineering, like, I mean, I understand how students usually choose where they go and what they find out to study. I don't know your story, but for example, for me, I was studying finance and economy, but it was very random decision because in my case, I just was better in math than in history in my grades. But for example, you, why you decide to go to study engineering and
Yeah.
yeah, you like math and numbers or how that works?
Yeah, that was like the most superficial thing that helped me deciding to study engineering. Like, of course, I used to like math, but I think that my familiar background was the most, like, the strongest point in this decision because I came from a family of entrepreneurs. So industries were part of my childhood. And then I think like I mix like my interest for the math and the logical and all that side and my familiar background. And I decided to study industrial engineer, and I do believe it was a good decision because it's a really open career, but super practical and useful wherever I need it.
Does it help you with operations manager and stuff? Like, did you feel that some knowledge from there it's have a match now with what you do?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Actually, as you said before, I was working in claims before. And when I saw the opportunity to jump into operations, I didn't hesitate for a second because I studied to understand how a business runs and where to look to make it run better. And I also have like the experience improving processes, organizing responsibilities, and covering the gaps so everyone can give their best. So yes, of course, industrial engineering and operation manager are a good mix and match.
Yeah, I see. So how do you can tell operations manager and claims what you find out more difficult or something like more easier, or we cannot compare this stuff together?
Yeah, yeah, actually, I think that they are very different because the being an assistant in claims is more like doing tasks and making sure that your scope is done so the next person can do their part as well. But an operation manager builds the system so everyone has a task and there is a real owner for the process and a proper result. So yeah, it's less of doing and more of defining what to do in order to run the operation better.
Yeah, yeah, I see. So I know from your experience that you came into the business where system was already built. It was built by another operations manager already. How you find out it? It was for you more difficult or, for example, easier that it's already some basement for your work? Or you like, oh my goodness, what I need to do? I need to fix it, like, and figure it out from the crazy structure.
Yes, all of that. Actually, you would think it is easier because part of the system was already installed, and at some point it was because the person before me did a great job. But it also pushed me to catch up the curve that was already moving, and it was my first time in this role in particular. So it was challenging, but I think I took the lead and kept building on it, and I can say I am proud of that now.
Yeah, for sure, you need to be proud of your work because honestly, every time when I speak with operations manager, I want to say, bravo, guys, you did stuff. You bring structure and clearness to system which already messed and in chaos. It's always difficult things. And also, you were learning like all operations managing stuff, and you was on your education time when you intern inside the business, how it was to hold both things together, like learning stuff and start to work inside of business. How you find out this one?
Yes, learning while delivering, it's difficult, but also it's what I love about how we work here in Edge. Of course, there are requirements and skills you need to bring, but then the real magic is that you learn while you deliver and you keep learning. So it's like an infinite loop. And it was challenging, of course, but extremely valuable, not only for me, but also for the client, because you have this person working while keep learning and improving, and you never standing still that way.
I'm curious to ask you something more about like your psychological part of this job because I understand that it's pretty stressful every time to come inside of a new company, to have this onboarding. Even me when I intern inside of H, I remember my first week I was just shocked. Who is the people? What is going on? How I can understand this new industry for me. But anyway, did you have a moment in your job that you understand that you need to say that to owner that he was wrong? And how did you feel that moment that here and here you have a lot of faults. How it was for you?
Yes, telling the owner he's wrong is one of the most difficult part of this position, but also it's part of the value. And at some point you find something the owner doesn't want to hear, like money going somewhere it shouldn't, or a role that doesn't make sense. And somebody has to be the one who says that out loud. And I learn and I keep learning that being honest and with respect is actually the most helpful thing I can do for them.
Yeah, sure. I believe it's not only in business, in every part of our life, relationship, wherever. And when you work in contracting company, like what your first 2 weeks of installment look like? Like what you do first, where you go, what you start to check to understand how does it look, how your job is looking for. For example, because I knew that case where you been, it was some big mess, which is really difficult to handle even for an owner. So I'm curious what you start to do in the beginning, how was the way, how you think, what you need to fix first.
Okay, yeah. So the process is like this. Like even before week one, I start with the triage planner. So I sit with the owner. I have like a 90-minute meeting where I get the real picture, like how many hours they are stuck in the weeds, what they would take off their plate first, and what success looks like in a year. So I have this first meeting with the owner, transferring all the information and trying to build my own picture. And then the first thing I do the first 2 weeks is building the workflows, this critical tool that the EdgeOS system contains, where it is expressed how processes are supposed to be done. I mean, how they are being done and how they are supposed to be done, like in a middle point between the reality and the ideal, because you can't build workflows that are unworkable. So I would say first meeting with the owner, then it's super useful to have meeting with each team and member. So you keep gathering information to then build the workflows and have like the most general context on how things are being done right now.
I'm curious, what was the three main problems which you find out in your past experience, like in this company? What was the worst and what was the reason why money stopped leaking, why everything got in chaos?
Yes, I would say the first one is like many people doing the same job and sharing tasks. So that was super unproductive because someone thought that the other person was doing that. And at the end, nobody was doing it. That was the first reason. Second, like no clear processes on how to build proposals, follow up on leads. So there was like no general criteria for that person to know how things are done. And for that, I build playbooks that it is another really useful tool. And then I would say,
How does this playbook look like? I mean, if you can shortly explain what is that, it's like Excel sheets or some schemes in
yeah,
it. What is
yeah,
the big side of this playbook?
the playbook is a reading file that detail how the most complex processes are supposed to be done in the company. So you don't have a playbook for every task, but you or me as an operation manager, I decide which playbooks are necessary for the most complex tasks. And there you have like a really clear step by step process. So the person that owns that playbook knows how to do it every time the same way. And I am not the one building the playbook. I am the one deciding which ones are necessary, and then that owner build the playbook for themselves.
Okay, I see. It's nice.
Mm.
At least the owners will understand after how does it work, and even if they decide, I don't know, whatever, to stop working, it's good that knowledge is still inside of the company. It's
Yeah.
very useful, I believe.
Yes.
I want to ask you a question. You have asked team members how long the work really takes, like in a week for them, and which answer you get. I'm curious. Like, what they answer you about?
Yes, I used to ask this question, and I think that they tell you the truth that maybe the org chart hides. Sometimes a full-time seat is really a few hours of real work a week, and sometimes it's drawing and nobody notice. And when you actually ask, you find out where the time and money is really going. And most of the time, the owner had no idea, to be honest.
So they all living in illusion about what they doing. Like I think that I do this and that, but in reality, who knows, right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
exactly. But that's what we do, like trying to fix these problems.
It's a workflow map or how usually we fix this. I mean, I'm curious how to make the structure to check.
Yes, I would say that for this situation, the role library is one of the most accurate tools because you have there what each person is doing, like their role, their manager, their what they are accountable for. We call them critical accountability bullets, and what the playbooks they own. So you have all that in one page, and you can see two people doing pieces of the same job and a seat being paid full time for maybe 4 hours of a real work a week. You have all that scenario in the role library, and you can make smart decisions to let it be better.
Yeah, yeah, sure, I understand. And I want to continue with very interesting topic about your past experience because it was situation in the company that owner keep hiring like cheaper employees just because he had a lot of offers and a lot of kind of different jobs. So company was overwhelmed and it was really start to become a big problem to company because they have a lot of different offers, a lot of different jobs, but not enough people for that. So he started to hire new one, but still issue didn't fix. And how I understand it caused even more problem inside the company. If we are talking about money and all of the salaries, so money just goes through. How it was when you start to talk with him about the situation, how you did explain why it doesn't help really company, and in general, could you describe all of the system and what was the problem, why it was broken, and how, for example, people who has the same issue, like business is growing, a lot of new
Yeah.
customers, a lot of new people, how business owners can handles the situation when it's happening in the right way for company.
Yes, yes. Well, I learned that hiring without a clear scope and idea, I think is one of the most expensive mistakes an owner can make. If you need to make a decision to improve a situation, like whatever, hiring should be the last option. The first one would be like, what can we do? What can we do more of what is currently working, then like improve our market, then improve our processes. And the very last point is hiring because it's a fixed cost that increase, of course, the cost of the company in a really like long term way. So I had this experience in my previous position, and what I did is use my tools, use the workflows, use the playbooks, and use the role library so I can show the owner what were we needing and what was not working. So with all that tools, it was so much clear for us to make decisions and to avoid hiring when there was not a real need, or define better responsibilities and accountable critical accountability bullet for the teams that we have right now. So I don't know if it answered the question, but to summarize, I would say like hiring should be the last option, and having the tools updated and using like in daily workflows, the library are really important. It's really like important information to make these kind of decisions.
And for example, what business owner should try before keep hiring new people? To escape situation like that, what it can be like. I mean, you already say about these tools, maybe it can be something else, like, I don't know, some checkups, some maybe more using scorecards or something to check about all jobs if it's done or not, because I understand there's no reason to hire a new one if your previous job was still on process.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that here in Edge we have like this strategy that the first thing that you should do is do more of what is working, then like check the metrics and have real numbers on how the business is going, not like just feelings or perspective, but real numbers. Then analyze the market and decide which shops are more profitable and which less, and decide where to use the resources. Then analyze the processes, like how the money is being treated in each process, like leads, sales, fulfillment, in every single step, how money is being treated, and if you can identify any leak. And then the manpower, and see if hiring or cutting off is a good decision to improve the financial situation of the business.
And you say that it was a moment where you felt connecting in a real problem into business for the first time. What changed for you after?
Yeah, I remember this because it was like something clicked. Like before I was solving pieces, but for the first time I felt I was like inside the real problem and seeing how everything connects and being the person who could actually change it. And that's when I knew this was my ground and it stopped being just a shop and became the thing I meant to be.
Let's talk about situation if a business owner decides to hire you next week. What you recommend him to hand you before you start your job to understand better what is happening in the company?
I would say access and visibility. That's actually a step one for us, like this 30-day activation tracker where we grant access to all the tools and drives so I can see who is on the team, the numbers, the processes, even the messy part. The more open you are in week one, the faster I can find the real problems. And if you hide things to look good, you are only slowing down your own health.
Yeah, I see it. He's spending money he doesn't have. For example, like the situation happening, because I understand sometimes a lot of entrepreneurs, they go into the debts for the business, they start using credit money, like to
Yeah.
escape situation like that, what you would say and what you can recommend for business owners, how to make optimization of the finance.
Yes. Okay. And again, I would use honesty and I will add here empathy, like with the picture in front of us, not my opinion, but the real numbers. I don't soften it into nothing, but I don't drop it like a judgment either. I show them what is going out and where, and let the picture do the talking. Like owners respect the truth when you bring it with respect and a way forward.
Yeah, because it's really not easy situation, and from human perspective, from business perspective, but for business, money is the most important stuff. Also, I want to ask you, because a lot of business owners watching us today, and I think maybe someone can find out that they have the same situation. What you can recommend to people who watching us today, how to escape this money leaking, and if we're talking about this financial part, what is always important to check, keep, and stay in structure?
Yes. Okay. So I would say like to find where is the source of the money leaking, I would say the best thing you could do is find the main constraint of the business. Of course, maybe you can see a lot of constraints at the same time, but you should be able to find the main one and start developing a plan of action for that main constraint. And then the leaking should stop because you are like attacking the problem to its source and not like downstream.
Yeah, sure. And can you say the difference between companies that let you in and gives you all information, like very collaborative with you, and companies that still they have a problem but they trying to keep a distance? Like what will be the difference for you? Because people sometimes really different and you need to handle a lot of different clients and ways how they like to work.
Yes, yes. Well, I do believe that maybe money is a difficult topic for the owners, but it is also super important for us as operation manager to have full access to the information so we can see the problems and not like trying to figure it out by using creativity or imagination, but really seeing the problem where the money is being spending and where it's being collected. So having access to that information and open communication with the owner, the office manager, or the team itself, it's crucial for us to install the system.
From this, what you would tell an owner who wants to structure their business, but they don't want to give up an hours to build the structures inside? What you would say to those people? Like maybe it's something what they need to realize or maybe start to think about because it's important stuff.
Yes, well, I would say like investing time to this process is a commitment that an owner has to take because we can run operation remotely, but we need having interaction and communication with the whole team to do everything, like see what they are doing, see what they are not doing, how they are doing it, how the results are. So without communication and interaction, an owner's like approving what we are building will probably won't get the results that we hope to find.
In your experiences, like more owners who are ready to communicate and collaborate well, or like it's still some owners they maybe don't really trust and they very, I mean, a lot of about all of that operations and tasks they have, so they don't really, like involved in this process of getting information to operations manager.
Yeah, I think that there are still some owners that find difficult to trust in this proposal, and I understand why, because it's like an external person working inside the company but remotely and all that. But what I would say to that kind of owner is that they can't do all, so they need to rely on someone who can trust and give like free access to the company so they can install the structure and the system to finally start working better.
Yeah, sure. It's very good words of you. I agree with you 100%. So, Manuela, let's go to final part of our podcast. It's one of my favorite because it's always very funny. It's called Quick Fire. I will ask you quick questions and you need to answer to me with one word. Like, don't think a lot. It's just the first what came to your mind. That's why we're doing that. So, tell me when you're ready and let's start.
Okay, I'm ready.
How many people's roles have you mapped this year?
7.
First number you ask for a new company where you start to work.
Payroll.
Interesting why. The most expensive habits that you see in owners.
Hiring people without having a clear scope.
Oh my goodness. It can cost you a lot. The one things you would take off on an owner's plate off.
Questions and chaos and bring solutions and answers.
It's too many.
Sorry.
That's
Chaos.
the first tool that you opened this morning today.
The dashboard, where all the system lives.
What should the owner before he hires his next person in the company?
Like create a clear job description.
Oh, okay, I see. And one things you wish an owners understood about this job and operations manager.
That letting go isn't losing control.
I like this. It's so nice. Oh my god, it's very resonate with me. I'm that kind of person that always controlling everything new. Okay, Manuela, thank you so much for our conversation and this interesting episode of our podcast. I would like to give you like final word, what you want to say to people who watching us today, maybe some of your insights, maybe some of advice to these people, because we discussed today very interesting topics, and I think and believe that it's really common issue for business owners, which we discussed today. So please.
Yes. Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for having me here. And what I would say to these owners is that there is created system that could be installed in your business to help you enjoying a little bit your job, taking holidays, and for all the teams to work better with better results. So I invite them all to trust in this system and this service to help themselves living better.
Yes, thank you so much. It's really good advice. Thank you, Manuela. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for watching us. And if you want an operations manager like Manuela installing the system that keeps your business from falling through the crack, go to edgevirtualassistants.com and book a call with us. Thank you for your attention.